welcome back to Marvel Live from New York Comic Con 2015. I'm Lorraine Singh, host of The Watcher, joined by
Ben Moore, senior editor of Marvel.com, and we have with us Tom King, who's going to be writing Vision coming up later this year. Tom, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. It means everything. This is so cool.
First time on Marvel Live.
I know, the first time.
You're a Marvel newbie.
I'm a brand new. I've written for some other companies that go without.
I've never heard
thought
of
you just
any
came out of
other
nowhere.
company.
Yeah, no, I appeared right here. Yeah, this is my first time. But I started as a Marvel nerd. Like that came from Marvel. I worked at Marvel when I interned there.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you intern there?
Should I tell you? That makes me old. Like I gotta be young.
We're old.
No, like in the early 2000s, I was Chris Claremont's assistant.
Oh my God! What was that like?
amazing.
What an education that must have
Dude,
been.
it was amazing. Our job, my job, Chris was a creative director back then, and he reviewed every single script that went in, and I was just his soundboard. So basically it was Chris reading every single script that Marvel had and sort of commenting on the storytelling and how it could be better and how it could be worse and all that stuff. It was the best learning experience a writer could ever have.
Absolutely. That's crazy. What would you say were the best lessons you learned from Chris and from working with him?
I mean, Chris is like, well, first of all, he has a plot thing this is in the weeds. I'm a super nerd.
Okay,
I'm a writing
let's
nerd
get in
too.
there.
Can we get in the
weeds?
All right. So Chris does a thing where he has, he calls ABC plotting, where you have an A plot that runs through your story, and then you have a B plot that runs next, and then a C plot that runs under it, and you have mostly A, some B, a little of C, and you rotate it in so that there's a constant undercurrent of plot going, so that the story never ends, because comics exist in the second act, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's really nerdy weed comic stuff.
No, but it's cool.
But it's something to keep in mind because it makes you think. I mean, to me, comics when I was a kid, they were real because they felt like the stories kept flowing into each other, and I feel that way still today. And I feel responsible to sort of keep that tradition. So I learned that from Chris.
Did you see him? He's down in Artist Alley.
I know he doesn't remember me.
Oh.
No. It's in the nicest way possible. He was really cool about it. I was like, Chris, remember I used to be your intern. He's like, I have no idea who you are, but you're fantastic.
But you're great. I appreciate it. All right, so how did you come back to Marvel, and how did you land on Vision? I'm really excited about Vision because it's one of the most unique books I think we're putting out there. It's a unique character, but it's a completely different take. The hard questions.
What do you mean coming back from Marvel? Like, how did I get from?
How did you end up coming back to Marvel to work on Vision? Like, how did you end up on this project?
So I wrote books for other companies.
Yes.
That did all right.
They did all right. They're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
I like them.
and people liked them.
Yeah,
and
I
they
like
got
them
some
okay.
quiz. So someone from Marvel nicely reached. It was look. I've been a struggling. Have you been a struggling writer? It's a horrible position to be in. You're still a struggling writer?
I'm struggling at whatever I'm doing. I know that.
Yeah, he just struggles a lot.
You just struggle a lot?
Yeah.
Big laughs, guys. Big laughs.
They're
Great.
laughing because it's true.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay, man.
Thanks.
If you need any help,
I'm glad I
here.
have one friend here.
Yeah, no, we'll exchange cards.
Two friends.
Yay.
Oh, you got two? Oh,
Yeah, I got two friends.
congratulations.
Thank you. I got upgraded.
So anyways, how'd you end up on Vision?
Well, when you're a struggling author, there probably is not an editor in this building who hasn't ignored an email from me. So an editor actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, you, Tom King, do you want to work on Marvel?" Now, I'm a Marvel nerd. That's where I started. Avengers 300 was my first comic ever.
Oh, wow.
I still have it. Like,
That's so cool.
I have it sitting next to my desk. There's a fire. Like, I know to run out with that, and then come back for the kids. You got to start with the things you love, with the things you most precious to you,
Man, I
and then the things you love.
I hope they're not watching.
Oh, crud.
Yeah.
I said crud so they can watch. So I was super psyched to get that, and they threw Vision at me, and I had an idea, and it was crazy, and it was sort of based on like a lot of personal stuff, and I threw it at them, and they're like, "That's an insane idea. Let's do it." That's not usually the second sentence that comes with insane idea. Yeah, it's usually that's an insane idea. I'm gonna ignore your emails again, Tom.
Or here's another idea.
Yeah, here's another idea. But they were like, yeah, we want to take risks. We want to do something big and crazy and cool with this character, but that stays true to his character. I mean, he's a 50-year character. He's been around a long time, and he's been essential to the Marvel Universe and essential to the Avengers, but he's never had his own book. So they said, yeah, let's do it.
Now, for people who don't know what the crazy idea is, do you want to tell everyone what the crazy idea is? Hopefully most of our fans do know at this point, but for that one guy scratching his head.
So I grew up a nerd. I don't know if that. I don't want to. It's a secret, but I think I'm allowed to let it out.
We're there with you, buddy.
You're there with me.
This is a safe space.
This is a safe space. And when I was a little kid, it wasn't cool to be a nerd.
Dark days.
Yeah, it was dark days, right? And you were under sort of constant pressure to sort of be normal and to join sort of suburban society, this American dream, this kind of ideal self, this sort of like 1950s kind of thing that people seem to be aspiring for. And I feel that's still sort of a theme in America today, this idea of like what makes you normal, what makes you fit in, and how other people can make you not fit in, how other people can make you feel abnormal. So I pitched Vision to me is he's a guy, he was created as a weapon, right? Ultron created him to kill the Avengers.
Right.
That's his first appearance. He's called the Vision, not because he called himself the Vision, because a wasp turns to him and says, "You're an unearthly vision."
You're
like
scared of
literally,
him.
like you're scaring me. That's his name is like holy crud.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad it's not actually holy crud.
yeah, no, it was lucky she said that you're an unearthly vision, right? Yeah, instead of he'd be the holy crud from then on.
Yeah, that would be an interesting
No,
direction.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That was my original pitch.
That was your
That's
original
too insane.
pitch.
Let's pull it back to
Yeah,
just
dial it
regular.
back. That's the pitch you threw out so they'd accept this one.
Yeah, exactly. You have to do one crazy one,
Yeah.
the holy crud.
But not to derail.
Behold the holy crud. It was
Yeah.
amazing. And so in this pitch, he's a man who wants to be normal. And what's more normal than family?
Yeah.
So he creates a family for himself, and he creates a wife, and he creates 2 children, and they're teenage children. They're 15, and they move to the suburbs. They move to the suburbs of Northern Virginia, outside of D.C. And he's the White House liaison for the Avengers, and so and it's about a family of, but to create your wife and to create 2 children is a little crazy, and it's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
That's
And it's
kind
out
of
there.
intense.
Right, and it's kind of
Yeah.
intense. And they moved to the suburbs of Virginia and sort of try to fit in, and the neighbors aren't so accepting of the fact that they're living next to people who could kill them at any second.
Right.
I mean,
fair.
think if you live next to someone who had 500 guns in his basement.
Right.
Vision
Yeah.
has many more than 500 guns in a little jewel in
Yeah,
his
right
head.
there.
Yeah, and he'd float through your wall.
And he floats through your walls, which is a
Yeah.
little creepy. And so can his 16-year-old son, right?
Oh.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
what
even
I'm
think
saying.
about that.
And so it's about their story, and it starts off soft, and there's a huge twist in the beginning, and it gets hard and complicated and violent pretty fast.
And you're getting to work with Gabriel Hernandez Walta, who I think is brilliant. Evokes like old
You
Bill
got that off the
Sienkiewicz
top of your
stuff, too.
head, man.
What?
That's
Gabriel
amazing.
Hernandez Walta?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. This is kind of my
Dude, you
job.
rock.
It's my job. Thank you. You rock.
A lot
I
of
like
people
this
have
guy a lot.
jobs.
Let's
Oh.
keep this guy around.
Is this making
Oh.
you feel good about yourself, Ben?
Finally.
Sweet. Take
What's
that,
it?
celebrities on Marvel.
What's it like working with Gabriel? I mean, he just has this great ability to kind of make exactly what you need. Kind of make the normal, the suburban, look a little creepy and like a little edgy.
It's fantastic. I think this is one of the most beautiful books I've ever worked on. I've worked
Yeah.
on some beautiful books in other unmentionables.
Yeah.
What he
Very
does.
well trained.
What he does is he creates this weird quiet, an eerie kind of
Yeah,
quiet.
I agree.
Like when you used to watch the Poltergeist show, and they'd wander out into the street, and there'd be like no one there, and then you'd hear like a bird. Like somehow he does that with a panel.
Yeah.
And
It's a great way of describing it, actually.
Yeah, and again, I'm a nerd for this stuff. He writes very much in the boxes. I'm an in the boxes kind of guy. I like to establish patterns in boxes and then break them. And so I love that style for this book, because it can go for a very sort of Watchmen-esque. Watchmen is against, but I've never heard of that book. But if you had heard of it,
I'm pretty familiar with it.
yeah, he has that kind.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a movie. He has that kind of style of scratchy and crazy and cool, and that's kind of what I'm going for. But then he can explode into violence, so he can shock you and surprise you. That's what you got to do. You have to establish kind of quiet and then hit you with the loud, right?
Absolutely.
That's all storytelling is.
Absolutely, man. Why the Vision? Why, other than the fact that he kind of fit this crazy idea you have? I mean, he's, like you said, he's a great character. He's got a high profile right now because of the movie, but again, not a guy who's ever headlined his own book. What made you think, like, you know who I can bring him? I can bring him the Vision, and that might be an idea.
Dude, the Vision is unique in the Marvel universe because he sort of stands. He's a character. He was always an Avenger, right? And the Avengers were always the center of the universe. He was always the center of the Avengers. He was
Right.
always sort of their rock, their anchor.
He's their constant, yeah.
Yeah, he's their constant. And for him to start to crack a little bit, sort of, it's almost like putting a bomb at the center of the Marvel universe. You know,
Yeah.
like this is our rock. This is the guy we always depend on. I don't know if you guys read. Mark Waid did a Zero issue.
Oh, yeah.
Recently.
Yeah, it came out this week.
Yeah, it came out this week, right? And in the Zero issue, it shows that like he's had all these memories from all these years,
Right.
and they're emotionally driving him crazy.
Yeah.
And he takes the emotional memories out. So he robs himself. So suddenly he becomes Spock. He becomes Data. He becomes my favorite characters in fiction, right?
Yeah.
And now he has to deal with what that means to him. That he used to feel and care about everything, and now he doesn't.
So we won't see. I just reread the first appearance of Vision like 2 weeks ago, so it's like really
Let's
freshly
do it.
in my
Yeah.
head. But one of my favorite, panels is even an android can cry, and it's Vision just so bummed out. No more Vision tears? I love Vision tears.
He erased his emotional memory, not his emotions.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to
like-
remember those, but he can build new ones.
He can build new ones.
Oh, that's very
yeah.
cool.
I think of him like Spock.
Yeah.
Spock he had emotions, right?
Right,
Like he was
right.
half human. So he still has that emotional content, and he wants to be normal. He wants to be you and me. That's his strongest desire. So he wants to feel those emotions. He wants to feel love for his wife and love for his children. But can he is the question of the series.
How close are you working with Mark, since Mark's going to be writing him in All New, All Different Avengers, and you're going to be handling him in Vision?
As close as I can, for the fact that every time I talk to Mark, I do this. Do you remember that
Yeah.
time you wrote that book? Oh, dude, and that other time you wrote that book? Oh, and that other time you wrote that book?
I can relate.
Right,
I can relate.
right.
It's very hard to have a conversation with Mark and not just start talking about all the great things he's done.
Yeah, you turned total Chris Farley. That was awesome.
Very good.
Yeah, as much as I try to resist doing that. He talks. I mean, he's a genius, and I just try to absorb some of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're running out of time here, but we do
no.
want to kind of get a last sell for Vision. So just telling people, there's a lot of books coming out as part of All New, All Different Marvel. A lot of books. If you want to get them to pick up Vision, what's the reason fans should choose Vision?
This is a book that's going to be different than the All New, All Different. This is the book that's going to stand out. This is the book that's going to really appeal to you on an emotional level, and that's going to change how you think about the world.
Nice. Pretty
And
good pitch.
I want
we
to
do have a
send us
question
out
from Twitter?
with,
Okay,
with just a
please.
comment from Sophia from Spain, our faves. She says, Tom has so much passion about his work. You can feel it from the way that he speaks. And I think that's so
Pretty cool.
true.
Well, Sophia, thanks. That's really cool. I appreciate that.
So we're going to take a break right now, but then we'll be back with Al Ewing in just a moment. So stay here at Marvel Live from New York Comic Con 2015.
Thanks for coming on, Tom.
Hello, Marvel Live